businesses, just like it's going to hit residences. They should have a say, and this would be one way for them to have some input into the process. The other thing that you have to acknowledge, right or wrong, there is a perception, looking at the makeup of the committee, that the committee members have an interest in one or more of these elements. So you remove that by going to essentially a third party. I'm not saying any motives, I'm just saying that the logical thing, there's a perception. You've got people on the school building committee, you've got people on the police committee. I mean, that's the fact, and that doesn't take away from their work, but you need to acknowledge that. And I think just one other, on the Murphy School, while you may not, Murphy Center, when I went there with Murphy School, I mean, you can't look out 5 years. You need to look out 25 years. That's what you define as your planning horizon.
So I think what happened the last go around, around 1980 or so, is that we did look out 5 years. And we got to look at year 6. So we closed the school for 5 years, and in year 6 we needed it again. And we were not going to be caught in that particular situation again. At least this is what our goal has been. And great care has been taken by the school building committee and the administration to project these enrollments. And the enrollments over the last 5 to 6 years have proven to be very conservative in their estimates and pretty true to form as to what the enrollment projections have been. Pretty much on target. Maybe looking out, looking at a full growth rate as far as residential homes being built, projecting how many kids come in, and so on and so forth. So, we're very sensitive to the criticism which has been levied in the past. Some of it justifiable, some of it not so justifiable. But again, it's a process by which the elected and appointed officials have to do their job, and again, raising the comfort level, as I said earlier, that we have looked at these alternatives. We are sensitive to what the concerns are. We are very much aware that the roofs have leaked in the past, and we're going to try and address those situations, because we're all paying for it now, and we're going to be paying for it in years to come. In relation to who's staying in the community and who isn't staying in the community, I've seen more and more people now reinvesting in this community by moving to other neighborhoods, and as they're staying in town. I mean, there are 3 people in my neighborhood who are moving, and they're staying in North Reading. That says volumes to what we're doing in the way of delivering services. And yes, they recognize that at times, it tends to be costly, but when they look around, it's just as costly, and the other communities in this particular area of the Commonwealth are facing these exact same problems. I mean, you can take the North Reading transcript and change the banner on it to the Wakefield item, and you can change it to the North Andover thing or the Lawrence Eagle Tribune, and the stories are all the same. The numbers are all telephone numbers that we're looking at as far as what we have to do in order to address the physical needs in meeting the enrollment in schools and the physical plants, the police, fire, and all the rest in every community in this particular area. So until the Commonwealth comes to the aid of these local communities, the only place that's going to have a significant impact is on your tax rate and my tax rate. And we're very much aware of that. But we do want the input, and we do want the suggestions. And I'm not saying no to anything that you've suggested. And again, I would welcome you to sit down with any of us and make an appointment with the town administrator, and we'll share any information we have that you're interested in looking at. And come to the next F.U.M.P meeting, which is June 15th at Town Hall. Come in and watch us crunch the numbers and rework them again. Okay, Ms. Osborne.
I think I have to second the opinion of the gentleman in the back, because I think it's not good enough to ask us to come to a F.U.M.P meeting, even though I'd be glad to come to a F.U.M.P meeting, but it's not getting to the people that voted those things down last time. So even if I agree wholeheartedly, and I appreciate the work that you all are doing, because I think it's a great deal of work to be done. But I think somebody needs to do some analysis on the electric. The people that voted. and really, we have to get an understanding of who voted and who voted against. And you have to go out and reach out to those people who voted against if you're going to have any success. I mean, we can already count on a group of people that will vote against because their wallet says they have to vote against. So you've got to be able to look at the electorate and say, you know, these people are in the fixed income category. We know they're going to vote probably negative. So we need to look at the rest and how many of those are going to vote positively. I mean, it just seems to me you really have to go down.
A large portion of what we're talking about too is schools. And again, everybody said it in the past, and we'll repeat it again. Maybe what 22% of the households in North Reading have kids in the schools. And if you're talking about narrowing it down to the bachelor school district, even though this isn't a bachelor school issue, this is a town-wide issue, and it's an issue that's going to impact every elementary school and middle school and high school student in this particular community. But some people tend to narrow it down to the bachelor school district. Well, you're down to about, I did the analysis, about 2% of the households in the community that are impacted, that have kids in the school right now, and by the time this thing is built, they're going to be out in that particular school. So that kind of political analysis has been done, you know, and we understand it, and yes, we have to reach out and touch a few people, and you know, touch them here, touch them here.
No, the sentiment is that there's not enough people here, that you're not reaching the people that you need to reach, because the people are not
We
coming.
understand it, but we also understand that this is a necessary step that has to be taken.
Oh, I agree.
And we're attempting to do so. Mr. Girardi.
Steve, I'd like to second the compliment to all the people that did the work, are doing the work. I think F.U.M.P is a great plan. I like F.U.M.P. But whether it's a town or it's a home, we all have things to buy. We all set priorities. We all have a budget. You got to run a town just like you run your home. You haven't got that money. You don't want to put the burden on a lot of people that have limited amount of cash to have an increase every year. Keep the F.U.M.P. I think it's wonderful. Pick the most important thing in the F.U.M.P. Put it up for the people to vote on. And then as we go through that, then tackle this next thing. I know what you're saying is true. We're going to pay a little more money. And then what he says, we might not pay a little more money depending on the market. But take one thing at a time. This whole blast of everything at once is going to be a shocker. The plan is great, but think of it as your own house. We can all figure that. We need a washing machine. We're going to need a refrigerator. We're going to need this and that. Which is the worst condition? Which should we correct first? Let's do that. Let's then go to the next thing. We're going to have to do it. We didn't win the millionaire, everyone in town here. We don't have a business where we get you know, unlimited funds. So if you want to keep the people in town, maybe you don't. I don't know. But if you do, and if you think of the people, the residents, you've got to think of their situation too. We need everything, but let's take one at a time and stick to the F.U.M.P. plan. Thank you.
Just two points that I wanted to clarify. When we speak about operating costs, a comment was made that if we build more classrooms, we will need more teachers. And I would caution against looking at it that way. If we have more children, we will have more teachers. The difference is, are we going to put them in modulars and plant them on each one of the elementary schools, or will we build a new building with reimbursement and provide adequate space for the teachers and children? Because we will cut libraries in half, we will eliminate art and music rooms, but we will put teachers where we need them because of the number of students. So our operating budget will not increase in the staff and the salary area because of new schools or additional classroom space. That's going to happen because of the enrollment number. And the other question was, are we building a school that's too big? And I can honestly say from the very beginning, members of school building committees have said to the superintendent, we really should be building more. Because if you're going to build for that bubble, if you're going to build for that big enrollment, you'd be building probably 12 classes at each grade level. And the plan is for 10 classes at each grade level. We would have 3 at the little school, 3 at the hood, and 4 classes at each grade level at the new school. But in reality, today, we've got 4 second grades at the hood. But the plan says 3. We've got 4 second grades at the batch. So we're not building for the bubble that's here now. We're building on an average, what we think it'll look like in 10 years. Besides the classrooms that we're building, there's 4 specialty areas: art, music, computer, and a library. There is nothing extra built in. There is no meeting room for teachers. They have their lounge where they have their dinner. There is no grand space for aides to spread out and collate and staple. There are no extra rooms being added for beyond the programs that are offered under today's ed reform. So in the event that we had 1 extra classroom available, would we all sit here and say, gee, we should not have built that room? I could tell you that we have preschool programs that would come and rent space from North Reading if we put a preschool program in place, because that's a growing area in education. So in reality, the building program we have for 10 classes at each grade level is conservative. There are times when we looked at it and said, 1 more room, just in case, and we held back. We've downsized and gone to the minimum on kitchens, cafeterias, gymnasiums, libraries, and technology spaces. Even the spaces are at their minimum. So the program will meet the needs, but it doesn't meet the largest of the needs. It doesn't meet what we're dealing with today.
In addition to that, we just, for your information, we have a pretty good comparative analysis that we can do in relation to the police station too. Reading just got through constructing their police station, and F.U.M.P has got all the updated numbers from the town of Reading as to what the cost down there was, the square footage, the use of the space, so on and so on and so on. And we done a comparison with that. The police station building committee members have gone down, visited it, looking at it, revisiting their numbers, revisiting their assessment of needs, and again, so we have something that's relatively current and based upon the evaluation they did down in that community that we can compare it to. And that analysis is also been done. This gentleman here hasn't had much to say yes so far this evening.
Don from Ernst. I'd like to start with a compliment to the committee. I think the plan that's been presented is very interesting. I think it presents a great basis for the town to discuss real important needs over the next 20, 25 years. I'd also like to point out that if I'm reading the numbers accurately, and if the numbers are accurate, then to me this means about $30 to $40 more a month. And for my money, I can't speak to anyone else's budget. I think it's an excellent investment for the benefits that the plan would bring to the town. I think it elevates North Reading from, and I use this reluctantly, from a situation where we're putting kids in classrooms that flood, we're putting kids in trailers out in parking lots. We've got a police station where the officers say they can't do their job and they're keeping files in the hallway, and it elevates us to a first-rate town with first-rate facilities. It costs a lot of money, but to me, it's $30 to $40 a month. I think it's a great investment, and I think it's I think it's something that would be worthwhile for a lot of people in town. On a criticism, I know 10 or 15 people in town, just from small talk, who think just like me, they don't even know what F.U.M.P is. And they're not going to come out to town meeting if they don't know the benefits. And they're not going to come out to town meeting if they're looking at a $45 million number. If they understand the concept of $30 to $40 a month for these excellent benefits to the town, to bring life into the town center, to have first-rate schools, they're going to come out for it. But at this point, they don't even know it exists.
Valid points, and again, a lot of it comes down to marketing. How we're going to go out and market this thing, and again, if you raise the comfort level, and I think we've learned the hard way in the past that we have to do a better job of doing that. This is bad.
Thank you. Mrs. Baca answered some of the questions, but for the gentleman in the back, this lady here, I just wanted to try to bring a couple more things into perspective. As far as doing nothing, the Big Dig project, which is driving a lot of the construction costs in the area, is going to go on, I believe, till 2008. I hope I live to drive through that long tunnel. In the meantime, we can't do nothing. We could wait and wait and wait for the bubble to burst, but it's going to cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in modular classrooms and fixes to the batch and other alternatives that would unless we have a crash where we're all in much sorrier shape than we are now, that would easily add up to the cost of building